You know, what kills the vibe of a meeting faster than anything? It's not the bad coffee.
Oh, I know this one.
It's the cable spaghetti. You walk into a conference room and the table just looks like a disaster zone. HDMI, power bricks, tangled wires everywhere.
It's instant cognitive load.
Yeah,
You're fighting the room before you even start talking.
exactly. So I grabbed this stack of specs you sent over on the Kramer T-BUS-6XL-B.
Hmm.
And my first thought was, okay, are we doing a deep dive on a fancy power strip? But looking at the source material from HD TV Supply, this feels more like a piece of architectural engineering.
That is the distinction right there. The manufacturer actually calls it a table mount modular multi-connection solution.
That's a mouthful.
It is. But that word solution does a lot of work. This isn't just about plugging things in. It's about how the hardware physically interacts with the furniture.
Okay, let's start with that interaction, because
Yeah.
the first thing I notice in the design specs is the lid. Usually these things have a flap that just sticks straight up and, blocks your view of the person across from you.
Which totally defeats the purpose of a conference table. So the TBUS-6XL-B uses a manually retracting lid. It tilts up, but then, and this is the clever part, it slides down into the unit.
So it just disappears.
Completely. When you all plugged in, the table surface stays flat. It's really designed to be invisible when in use.
But, okay, here's where I got a little confused reading the ordering guide. It says if I buy this unit, I can't actually plug anything into it yet. It's empty.
That's the build your own concept, and it's critical to understand this part. You aren't buying a pre-made set of plugs.
You're buying the chassis.
Exactly, the enclosure. The source material really emphasizes that the inner frame, the power sockets, and all the inserts are purchased separately.
That sounds like a hassle for the average buyer, doesn't it? I mean, why not just sell it ready to go?
Because ready to go usually means getting a VGA port or some old audio jack you will literally never use.
Good point.
This modularity forces you to design for the connectivity you actually need. They offer, I think, 3 different T6F inner frames, which are basically the skeletons that hold all the ports.
And I saw a massive list of options for power, too.
Well, that's the global versatility part. They list 8 different TS single power socket options. So whether your office is in London, New York, or Tokyo, the chassis is the same.
You just swap the inside bits.
You just swap in the specific power module and the matching CAC power cord for that country.
It's like a universal housing for a global workforce. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, looking at the installation notes, this part made me a little nervous. You have to cut a hole in the table.
And not just any hole. The technical constraints are very rigid. It needs a cutout of exactly 158 millimeters by 123 millimeters.
Oof. If you mess that up on a mahogany boardroom table, you are in so much trouble.
Big, big trouble. But there's a hidden feature inside the box that really helps the installer out. It's the adjustable connector depth.
What does that do?
Well, think about those high-quality HDMI or KV6 cables. They're thick. They're shielded.
Right.
If you bend them too sharply, you can break them or lose the signal. This unit lets you adjust how deep the connectors sit, so you aren't just crushing those expensive cables against the bottom of the box.
That is a detail I totally missed. It actually respects the physics of the cables themselves.
It does.
So commercially speaking, where does this sit? We're looking at HD TV Supply as the source here.
Right. Currently, it's priced at about $228, which is discounted from around $285.
Which, for an empty metal box, might seem a little steep to some people listening.
It might. I get that.
Yeah.
But then you factor in the build quality. The user feedback is sitting at a 4.7 out of 5-star rating.
That's pretty solid.
And what's interesting is a lot of that praise in the reviews isn't just about the hardware. It's about the shipping and ordering experience from HD TV Supply.
Oh.
When you're coordinating a big office install, reliable logistics are just as valuable as the metal itself.
So if we zoom out, the mission of this hardware isn't really connectivity. We have Wi-Fi for that. The mission is organization.
It's about the interface. It's designed to be there when you need it and completely invisible when you don't.
It does bring up a funny contradiction, though. We spent this whole time talking about these heavy-duty physical connection points.
In a world that was just obsessed with going wireless.
Exactly. Why are we still cutting holes in tables for copper wires in 2026?
That is the provocative thought to leave on, I think. As we push for wireless, everything casting, AirPlay, all of it, the demand for these robust physical connections isn't shrinking.
It's growing.
It's growing. Maybe when the meeting really truly matters, we just don't trust the invisible signal as much as we trust a physical plug.
A little tech anxiety to chew on? Thanks for listening to the deep dive.